Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 3 of the Monday Q&A. So let's do it. You have mentioned refeeds quite often. However, what are the telltale signs of requiring a refeed during a cut? Is missing an occasional lift enough to warrant a refeed, or is it more specific than that? Alright, I'm going to tell you right up front. If you start basing refeeds upon how you feel, your body is amazing at keeping you from starving. The human body and the human mind and psyche is very, very, very well developed to keep you as fat as possible so that you can survive the next famine or ice age that's coming, which has been the status quo all throughout human history. We're not designed for these times of plenty. What you're going to find is that your mind will set you up to give you refeeds. If you start giving yourself, okay, if X or Y happens, I'm going to take a refeed, you're going to find that those things are going to happen, and your brain will psych you out, and it'll start making you miss lifts just so that you can give it a refeed. Or you're going to come up with, because in your own state, the human mind is good at creating delusions and even causing people to eat thousands of calories that they don't track. And we've documented this over and over and over. Once they get close to, and they're losing weight too fast, or calories get too low, the human brain will kick in and do things to trick you into eating more. So what you're going to find is that you're going to have all sorts of sabotages that will trigger those things that you specifically said you're going to do a refeed as a response to. They're going to happen a lot more often than they should. So that being said, no, you need to have refeeds scheduled ahead of time. Before you start the diet, you need to have time frames and numbers worked out. This needs to be based upon numbers and math, not how you feel, because your brain will lie to you to get more food into you when you're cutting. So don't base it on telltale signs at all. It's based upon a schedule on a calendar that you wrote out ahead of time, or else you're potentially sabotaging yourself. All right, next question. Thoughts on purely beltless training to strengthen the core and exclusively pause reps on BB bench. I don't know what the hell BB bench is. All right. Oh, duh. Barbell bench. Okay. One of those mornings. Well, as someone else pointed out, that's the style of training that I promote in general. So it's kind of funny someone should ask me that. But yeah, I do believe in beltless training to build your core up. I think most people should spend, even who use a belt in competition, I think they should spend at least half the year without a belt. So it does build your core up. It does strengthen your entire core to train without a belt. And as far as pause benching, unless you are benching to develop your triceps and delts, the dominant movers, pause benching is what you should be doing. It's going to make you more explosive. It's going to give you more power. It's going to make you better at pause benching at meets, which is what you have to do. And as far as actually putting size on your pecs, when you come to a pause and you don't touch and go or bounce, and most people's touch and go is bounce. Like, let me explain how this works. Most guys, what they call touch and go is actually bouncing, and a lot of guys actually think they're pause benching when they're touching and going. So that being said, a true pause bench is going to force you to use more chest to get the weight started. It's going to be a better overall pec developer. So if that's your goal, you're using the bench press for total upper body development, because it develops a number of muscles, but you really want to make sure that it's building your chest adequately. Pause benching is the way to go anyways. All right, next question. Do overweight people lose out on newbie gains? I started training about 1.5 years ago, but I have been in a calorie deficit the whole time. I know you can gain muscle and lose fat if overweight, but couldn't gain as much muscle in a deficit. So have I lost my chance for newbie gains when I start bulking? Thanks, Jason. No, you haven't lost your newbie gains. In fact, what you're going to find is that the more obese you are, the easier that you can gain muscle without a calorie surplus, because you already have a surplus fuel source to draw from. As long as you're getting adequate nutrition, adequate training, adequate sleep, you'll gain muscle. And I've seen guys who ran, even like, say, my novice program, for example. One of the guys ran it, and he was in a deficit the entire year that he ran it. He dropped something like 25 or 30 pounds over the course of that year, but he started pretty obese, and he wasn't really lean at the end either. So he got down to a healthy, normal body fat after losing 30 pounds on the program. He gained a lot of muscle, and he hit, while in a deficit, he hit the numbers that I recommend people to hit inside of 1 year. So he really seemed to have gotten the full benefits of the program even though he was cutting the entire time and lost close to 30 pounds. So if you are obese, you can do a cut as long as you don't cut fast. I mean, if you start cutting fast, you're not going to necessarily gain muscle. But if you do a nice slow cut and you're fairly overweight, you will make your noob gains. You will gain a lot of muscle and strength, maybe even very close to what a leaner person would have gained on a bulk, if your nutrition is on point and you're on a good program. It's very possible. So no, you don't waste the newbie gains. You can oftentimes combine those noob gains with the fat loss if you're starting out basically obese. All right, guys, so that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.